Hey, what's going on YouTube? Too Sketchy coming at you with some of that Iron Harvest gameplay. However, we're going to be doing something different this time around because, well, there's some hot ticket topics that we need to talk about. With that being said, the recent dev blog, if you don't know, the Iron Harvest team every month pushes out a dev blog speaking about the development of Iron Harvest and its future, and we chime in and or just talk about it. And I wanted to do that here again. So if you want to read up on it, I'll put it in the link down below or description and the video that I did talking about it. However, gives us a little opportunity to talk about it even more and centralize the comments because that's what the comments sections is for. So with that being said, the hot item on the chopping block right now is the limitations Iron Harvest has in regards to building its buildings. This is a two-sided coin. Okay, or double-sided coin, double-edged sword. It's one of those things where a lot of players don't mind this because Iron Harvest is more of an RTT than it is an RTS. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because I personally love both. I love RTS games. I love RTT games. RTT being something more along the lines like Dawn of War 2, where the focus is your units, tactically moving them around, putting them in cover, you know, upgrading them wherever you can, and taking advantage of the way you manipulate the battlefield with your units. However, the thing that caught my eye, and I think at the time when reading that dev blog, was that the limitations on buildings. These are the two buildings you can build in this game, and right now I don't see this changing anytime soon. Now, what I mean by that building buildings, obviously you can build fortifications like a bunker or barbed wire and sandbags, but these are the only two buildings you can build that will produce your units, and that's it. Once you get those down, there's no other base building elements you need to worry about. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. What I do know is that I don't mind either decision. However, when this game was even earlier in its development cycle, Iron Harvest marketed itself as an RTS game. Speaking in terms of RTSs usually rely on the functionality or mechanics of being able to build multiple buildings, being able to, you know, upgrade units multiple times, spamming units, and so on and so forth. If you wanted to take, for example, StarCraft or Warcraft into account, that's usually a classic RTS game. Now, Iron Harvest, while still considered a strategical game, is more along the lines of an RTT, with the fact being that your focus is the combat. Now, I'm literally talking and playing at the same time because that's just how damn good I am. But, hold on, let me focus here for a second. I want these guys off of this. Alright, cool. Let me put them up top, somewhere up here. So, a lot of people might get turned off that the focus point is actually this, what I'm doing right now, manipulating my units more than trying to figure out what it is I need to build at a certain time. Build orders are most likely going to be a thing, but not as important as a classic RTS, which I thought Iron Harvest was, and that's what caught me off guard when I read that comment on the dev blog, how no, we're not gonna have any more buildings, this is it. How do you feel about that? That's where I'm getting at. This is a discussion about the future of Iron Harvest and the future of RTT games, because, well, it's not really an RTS, more of an RTT. Are you okay with that? Essentially, are you cool with that? I don't mind it. I love RTTs, and I love this team that's developing it. What I'm trying to bring up is, I fear that this is going to get slight backlash because I can already see the Steam reviews, even though, you know, don't listen to Steam reviews because, God Lord, that place can be a cesspool. But, I'm scared that people are going to light this thing up because it doesn't have what they are expecting. And that's where the fear arises. I'm scared that people are going to assume, oh, there's no base building this, I'm out. And I've seen comments like that already in the Reddit posts that I made about this specific topic. A lot of people like, oh, no base building? I'm out. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want people to lose interest. That wasn't my intention. I was more bringing up a point that, hey guys, by the way, this is what this is going to be like. And I think you should know that. It's not bad or good. It's neither. It's just the genre. It's how it's going to be played. And we're gonna have to, you know, deal with it, and just that's how this game is going to be. There's no ifs and or buts about it. However, the reason I'm bringing this up because maybe if we talked about it, maybe, you know, if the Iron Harvest team tells us the reason why, or if, you know, maybe in the future we'll actually get an additional building or two that's going to give us, I don't know, the option to make exoskeletons. Or what I suggested was maybe pulling out some of the units out of here because they're specialized like tools, putting them in a different building and then make exoskeletons out of them as well. For example, Saxony has an exoskeleton right now. What is happening? Who's... Oh. Saxony has an exoskeleton called the Eisenhans, who can we capture this and make it out in time? I don't think so. I don't think we'll be able to. I think we'll actually lose this unit. Yep, definitely gonna use it. Gonna try to retreat, but I don't think we'll make it out. At least we decapped it. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm curious what your thought is on this, where you stand with that decision, and that's pretty much it. I'm just wanted to know where the majority lies, and if they're okay with it. We can't really upgrade the HQ yet either. We can upgrade these buildings, these 2 buildings, which allows us to unlock more, which is great. You know, expanding on that would be cool maybe, but that's where the limitations come into place. Furthermore, the next topic I wanted to talk about was, well, the cool additions that the Iron Harvest team is adding, coming in February, being that that's the time where they're going to hopefully launch the highly anticipated beta, which is going to include the highly anticipated faction, the Rusvets. It's gonna be cool to see those guys in action finally. Curious to how they're going to play and how they're going to be balanced. Pretty excited for that. But in the beta, a few things are going to change. For example, as of right now, buildings like this one or this one, any building can be pretty much entered by a unit. So if you take, for example, an infantry squad like this, click on this building, they're going to enter this building. Right now, there's no real entry point. They just kind of touch the building, boop, 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 and they just kind of go in. I wonder if there's going to be enter points. Okay. I wonder if there's going to be entry points and exit points, but these guys are in the building. Okay. So if they were to throw a grenade, or if this building were to get damaged, this team of grenadiers will be exited immediately. Just put these guys in here too. Let me show you, right? So if I take this guy and force him to shoot at this building, if I destroy this building and it blows up eventually, hopefully, I don't know if we're going to be able to, but I'm going to try. Let's get another one right here. We've lost the squad. We've lost the squad? Okay, well, let's retreat the squads then. Oh, we can't. Well, this is actually a pretty good example as to what happens. So if you put a unit inside of a building and it gets destroyed like this, the unit that was inside obviously got removed from the building, and that's it. They can't use this building anymore. However, I would love to pause it here, but you know what? In the future, this guy's just like going crazy. In the future, if there is a room, which these buildings will be divided into rooms, a unit inside of this room can still stay there and will maintain its position. The unit inside of these rooms are most likely not going to, and they're going to take a ton of damage or get exited. So that's how that's going to work. I keep trying to fire at this building, but it's not getting destroyed. Let's go ahead over here and mount up our defenses. They won't know what hit them. Let's go ahead and upgrade that and get some machine gunners. They're really good. Go. Cool. What are we doing here? Let's go ahead and grab this. So yeah, that's how buildings are going to work, right? So this is a building. If it gets destroyed, depending on where you're located or how many rooms there are, that's how it's going to function. The building can get destroyed, whether it's a grenade or an artillery round, but the unit inside of certain rooms can maintain its position and still adhere to the cover. However, mechs in the future, as you can tell, are pathing, I guess, very stiff-like. So I can't click here, for example, and have the mech walk through the sandbag. It's going to go around the sandbag. In the future, mechs are going to be able to walk through sandbags, through smaller pieces of cover like this, and bigger mechs are going to be able to walk through buildings, which goes back to how units interact with buildings, depending on how many units you have or where you have them placed inside the room. Are they going to be, kicked out of the room? I would love to take this. There's a weapon in there. I would like to make them the thing. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. Go ahead and take care of that. How are we doing over here? Doing good? Alright, let's put these machine gunners in their face to deal with this slightly better. Let's get a Lauka. You are taking hits, but you should be fine. Put these guys behind cover here. And that's actually a good turning point, speaking of how cover is going to work. So cover in the game in the future, while this is considered, I guess, a low cover, there are three types of cover: low, medium, and high. This being low, essentially. Medium being, I'm gonna guess it's, harder placements or harder locations, like, metal, things like this. This probably considered low. And there's gonna be high cover, in which you can still maintain cover. However, it is so high to the point where your units cannot shoot back, right? Can we get rid of this grenadier? Thank you. Now get rid of this guy, please. Jeez. All right. Scoot her up. Lauka, scoot her up. Cool. Just retreat this guy. Actually, you know what? Here, that's a good example. So this is considered high cover. That's what I'm assuming. Units can't shoot over this. They are still in cover. As of right now, there's no bonus on them. They're just standing around this thing. But this will be considered a sort of cover in the future. Also, there's gonna be more units in this game, obviously. Some of them being, oh nice, we got a flank on him. Don't destroy him, please. Nice, cool. Let's go ahead and retreat him a bit. Do we have this flag? We do. Okay, something's going on over here, by the way. So there's gonna be more units in this game. I'm playing as Polania, and they will have a cavalry unit, which will be literally people on horses, which is cool. I'm curious how that's gonna play out, because, well, Polania, as of right now, is an extremely fast army. This is why. These two guys are extremely fast. They're the fastest units in the game. They're extremely hard to deal with in PvP, so I'm guessing that there's gonna be a nerf hammer coming once the beta does release, because these guys caused so much uproar in the PvP scene that in certain tournaments we actually had to figure out certain rules for them. So I wonder how they're going to play in PvP with the cavalry. How fast are they going to attack? How squishy are they going to be? How the animation's going to be like with the horses. Very rarely do I see games with horses in them that it's executed properly. The last game that I actually played with horses was Ancestors of Legacy, the Viking game. I don't know if you guys recall that. And then I do know that Dawn of War has some unit that can be a horse as the Imperial Guardsman. That's probably their starting unit. So I'm curious how that's going to be applied to the game as well. So these are the two buildings that I built, and again, I can't build anything else. Moving on, we talked about building units or building buildings and fortifying maybe your resources. So as of right now, you can cap a point, which is this. This is how you gain your resource. And then what you can do is you can upgrade that resource to become, well, more superior and make you more resources. With that being said, though, once you do upgrade this, it is free for the taking. I mean, a unit can totally walk up to this and decap it. For example, obviously the enemy owns this. I can just go ahead and click on this, and then if I do this right, I can take it from them. without any ifs and or buts about it. They can try to defend me, but I can surely walk up to this sooner or later and just, there we go, I'm starting to decap it. There's nothing stopping me other than the damage that they're putting on me right now and that grenade that's going to kill me. There's nothing that can stop me except this massive grenade shot that I just took to the face. What I'm trying to say is, I think that we should start seeing fortifications. The enemy, they attempted this in the beginning by sneaking units around and decapping this point. If I'm investing points in resources to be able to upgrade this, I feel like I should be able to also fortify this. Whether it's taking an engineer like this and pressing a button, and maybe this or this slot can be something, or maybe even it'll be an ability of some sort. To be able to fortify this, I think, is pretty important because you're the one that's upgrading it, and I don't think that when it's upgraded, it's fair for the enemy to just come around and now take my big oil pump because, well, I don't know, I was fighting, doing something. I don't know how I feel about that. Whether, you know, it's something simple as, you know, maybe it'll be something like that, like it'll just be a bunch of sandbags around, or maybe some barbed wire, and then it'll look slightly different. It'll look fortified, you know what I mean? This is an absolute shit job, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It'll be cool if your very valuable resources that you've managed to upgrade can also get fortified. What do you think about that? Opinions, obviously, that's what the comment section is down there for. Moving on, we talked about the additions to extra units, you know, the limitations on buildings, how this is more of an RTT rather than an RTS. However, you know, it doesn't mean that we're going to be limited on the amount of units that we can have, because we are going to get additional ones. My post in the Reddit section talking about how the buildings are limiting, in a sense that these are the only buildings that we need to worry about, and these are the only buildings that makes your units. I think that if they did add a third building, which I think would look aesthetically, this will look pretty cool. 1, 2, 3. I dig that. I think that works. I think that they should remove some of these and put them inside another building. If I, for example, know that I'm going to get smashed, you know, I know that this player on the other side is better than me, and I would like to play more defensive. I think that the defensive buildings, whether it's artillery pieces, field cannons, HT guns, mortars, could be a different building. This, to me, is like, I'm gonna go offensive. The other building would be, maybe I'm defensive. Or maybe the other building will strictly be specialized units. For example, cavalry units, exoskeletons, anything else that's, you know, mostly specialized. Let's go ahead and retreat these guys. They actually put up a really good fight. You know, stuff like that, where more, if you want to introduce more units, do them through other buildings. Putting them in here, this already shows me that there's 2 more units and that's it. Unless they expand this HUD a bit more, 2 more units, and that's pretty much it for Iron Harvest, unless again they add another building which will allow us to make more units, and or maybe there'll be units in here. Maybe the HQ or the headquarters will make us our hero units, which is actually a good turning point again, speaking about heroes in this game. So as discussed in the dev blog, this game will have heroes and multiplayer. However, it's going to be an option pre-lobby where players are going to be able to choose whether or not they want to play with heroes. So prior to a game starting like this, I would check on or off whether I want to play with my heroes. If it's on, over a certain amount of time, after a certain amount of time, my hero is going to be able to spawn into the game and help me out. If it's off, this right here, what you're witnessing, this gameplay is pretty much it. This is how people are going to play. I'm curious what you think is going to be the more dominant mode. Do you think players are going to turn more towards this, where it's strictly units and mechs? Or do you think people will most likely go heroes because, well, that's a cool addition to play with, and, well, action-packed gameplay with heroes is always cool to see and or even cast. Curious what you guys think. With that being said, we went over the cover system. We talked about the heroes. The number of heroes, by the way, every every faction has a poster child, right? So Polania has Anna, who's her sniper and her bear. The sniper being long ranged, and her bear being like a, I guess like a sub unit that can help her out and attack units, scratching them and whatnot. Gunther is going to be for Saxony, who's more of like a commander guy. I think he wields like a submachine gun, and he has a wolf or two. Nacht and Tag is in the lore. Tag being day, Nacht being night. It's a black and a white wolf. It's pretty cool. And then for Rusviets, it's going to be Olga, which is she has a Siberian tiger, and I'm gonna guess she has either a pistol or a shotgun, like the Rusviets are planned to have when they release. So those are the poster childs. However, following that, the other heroes, again 3 for each faction. Not only are they going to have poster childs with pets, which I thought was very cliche in the beginning, but I see that they're going to add different types of heroes, and them being that each will have a mech hero, right? So in the last dev blog, it was like this wolf face mech. I think that's the prince. I'm pretty sure that, look at my fortification. I'm pretty sure, that's actually pretty good. It's hard for people to capture this point. Huh, that's a thought. Saxony's hero, I'm pretty sure, is going to be that wolf one. Polania's hero is going to be the gorilla mech that we keep seeing in random shots. And then for Rusviets, I'm not too sure yet, but I'm pretty sure it's that ship, that half ship design, that's going to be the hero mech for the Rusviet faction. Now the third one, they haven't mentioned yet. I don't know what the third one, what the third hero is. Maybe it's a support unit. You know, you have one unit that's a pet hero. You have one unit that's a mech hero, and then maybe the third one's more of a supporty unit. We'll see. We'll see as they reveal more in the future. Well, there's Eisenhans. There it is. There's an exoskeleton here somewhere. Oh, there we go. These guys, I think, should come out of a different building since they're, you know, they're humanoid mechs. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about that. And then last but not least, player progression system. So player progression system is going to be an addition which I think is really cool, and that's you know, how you maintain your player base where they're at, to incentivize them for playing, whether you play the campaign, whether you can play, you know, versus AI or in PvP. You're going to be able to gain rewards for playing the game, which I think is a great idea. I'm curious to what you think the rewards are. You know, are they going to be icons? Are they going to be portraits? Are they going to be like frames on your portraits? I'm curious if they're going to add like achievements too. It's like, hey, you've killed the 10th wave in under 10 minutes. Here is your special border, you know? Or maybe it's just, hey, you've reached level 10. Here's your golden frame for your portrait. You know, stuff like that. So I wonder how they're going to use this. Several games do this player progression thing. Dawn of War 3 kind of did it with their elites. If you leveled up your elites, they gained, you know, like an aura glow on their guy, like a mastery glow. I don't think it's going to be like a battle pass, even though they totally could do that. Let's monetize it a little bit, you know, support the developers. I do know that in the future they're going to hopefully add more things to this game. They're probably going to monetize it, whether it's DLCs or skins or I don't know, more maps maybe, or a blood edition like they usually do in like all these Dawn of War or Warhammer games. We'll see. We'll have to see what they do. But player progression system, I think I'm actually really excited for that. Rewarding the players, again, letting them stick around and reaching, you know, a certain level. It's always fun to do, because while playing a game is fun, if you're just playing it just to play it, it can get slightly boring a little bit. You know what I mean? It can take its toll on your dexterity of how much you can play the game. And being rewarded for playing is definitely fun and cool to see. So yeah, that's pretty much, those are all the points that I wanted to cover. Again, if there's anything else that might have came up in the dev blog that I haven't mentioned, that's what the comment section is down there for, guys. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that cover this game. Obviously, some of them are bigger than me, and they gain a lot more viewers than I do. What we do here is break down the game to the best ability that we can. whether it's informative or comedic or just, you know, just gameplay in general, educational, whatever it is. You know, I love you guys. You know, I love this team that's developing this. To me, they've become friends of mine to this point, and I just want to see this game, you know, reaching its highest potential. And I don't want any crazy hate coming out, because I've been part of that in my past. People that have been following me for a while know the struggle that I've had to deal with other games. I'm not going to mention names, but you know, things happen, and I just want to see this succeed because, well, I just enjoy it, and I like making content for it, and I love the people that are developing this game. And again, just want to see it thrive. And it deserves a lot of attention, and I admire them for pushing what they're doing. It's an indie developer company that's, you know, attempting to take on a hard task. Let's be honest here. This isn't easy. This isn't an easy place to just kind of come up and just be like, hey, we're in RTS studio now, and we're going to rock the show. Move aside, you know, Command and Conquer. Warcraft 3, pfft, screw you. Company of Heroes, I don't think so. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, and I am going to expect a lot of counter arguments, especially once this thing goes live, which is about 9 months from now. So time is ticking, and you better believe that I will be there to, well, defend it if that has to arise. I've done so many times. Anyways, I want to hear your thoughts. You know, that's what the comment section is down there for. If you want to get more reading done, the dev blog is going to be down below. My video with it is going to be down below, and I just want to hear your voices, guys. So I'll see you next time. Too sketchy out. Peace.
Too sketchy.